there, it's Catrin from 3Ps. Welcome to another part of my home. I do most of my videos either in the gym or in my office, but I thought we should have a look at some of my art, and this is one of my favourite canvases that I have here. And there's also, as you can probably see, there's a sculpture here in front, which is it's a woman, it's a dancer. I have lots of sculpture and oils around. I think it's really important that you have inspiration in your home and things that are beautiful to inspire you to achieve the best you can for yourself. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how you set goals for weight loss. I'm a personal trainer. I'm unusual in that I'm a female personal trainer. I am an older personal trainer. I've been around the block a bit, and I specialise in weights, which is 3 reasons why I'm unusual. That means that I don't necessarily come at this from a simplistic position. I'm old enough and wise enough to know that people have all sorts of reasons why they are holding weight, and often people really want to lose weight but are sort of flawed at the first stage in terms of how they set goals. And so I thought this would be helpful just to talk about the approach that I use for clients. It's the approach I use with my clients, but also in lots of areas of my life. So let's just talk about how you would set goals. Okay. The first thing I would say about setting goals is you need to be clear what your goals are. And this may sound obvious, but there are lots of people who will come up with a goal that's a bit non-specific, like I want to lose weight. Now, that's a wish, that's not a goal. A wish is I will lose weight being whatever kilos by a deadline. Now the point about that weight is that goal is it's specific, it's time limited, and it's measurable. So you're being clear about how much you're going to lose. You're being clear about the quantity that you're losing, measurable, and you're being clear about the time. So you're saying you're going to do it by a certain date. The point about being this specific is you can then measure how you're doing, and you then, if you commit to that goal, you knew what you have to do during that period. Now, one point I make about that, making those sorts of what I call SMART goals, so it's something that's specific, it's measurable, and it's time-based, is that it needs to be realistic. That's the R in SMART. So there's no point saying I'm going to lose 20 kilos by next week, or looking at all the there are loads of videos on YouTube which say drop 5 kilos in a week. I just those sorts of goals aren't realistic. As a personal trainer and someone who really believes in health as being the foundation for everything you want to do, choose a goal that's realistic, that you're not going to put such extreme stress on your body to achieve. So I'm not in favour of use of diet supplements, diet pills, fat blockers, any of that stuff. I just think you are, number one, you're cheating the process, and the process is about learning how to eat so you can actually keep the weight off long term. And second, I think that it's just done naturally. I think it's right for your body to do that. I think it's much better to adopt a sustainable way of healthy eating and let the weight come off gradually. So sit down, look at your goals, make them specific, make them measurable, so decide how much you want to lose, make them time-based, so decide by when you're going to lose, but make them realistic. Okay, so that's the first point, is to make sure you have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you'll never know where you're going to. You are. It's almost like getting in a car saying, I'm going to drive to Newcastle, but having no roadmap with you and no idea how to get there. So you need to start with a basic goal. The next thing you need to do is work out why you want to achieve that goal, because it's great to have a goal, but when times get tough and you are looking for why why am I doing this? That it's your birthday. Why can't you have that piece of cake? You've got to think about, why am I wanting to achieve this? So it's important that you have at least 2 reasons, and you write those reasons down. And I always encourage my clients to write their goal and write their reasons down and put it somewhere where they can see it, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So often it may not sound very sexy, but put it next to your bed, put it on the fridge, put it on the bathroom mirror, anywhere where you are definitely going to see it. You don't want to put it somewhere you have to go and find it. It needs to hit you between the eyes when you are starting your day and when you are ending your day. So your reasons can be, and they should be, personal. So in terms of weight loss, the reasons may be, if you have a lot of weight to lose, it might be, I want to be able to sit in an airline seat without having to have a belt extension, or I want to be able to fit into a cinema seat or a theatre seat. You know, those are good, solid reasons why you want to lose weight, and they are things that you can remind yourself of when the time, you know, gets hard or you feel very tempted. If you have less weight to lose, it might be other reasons. It might be, you know, I've got a holiday coming up, or I've got a wedding, or, you know, I want to get back into my old clothes. I put some weight on and I want to get back into my old jeans, whatever it may be. But be specific about what the reasons that you want to. It's not just because I want to feel better about myself. You need to have specific reasons. When talking to our nutritionist, Maia Lloyd, because at 3Ps we have a relationship with a weight loss nutritionist called Maia Lloyd, when we talk to her about it, she talks a lot about, you know, the changes that her clients go through when they start to lose weight, and that the ones that are the most successful at losing weight are the ones that are very specific about why they're losing weight. And often the ones you think initially might be the least successful because they've got a lot of weight to lose are often the most successful because they've got to a point in their life where they're not prepared to settle anymore with their weight, and there are certain things they want to achieve which they cannot achieve with their weight. So another good example would be if there's a particular sport you want to do which you simply can't do because of your weight. And a classic one for that would be horse riding, because a lot of women in their middle to late life want to take riding up again, but are unable to do so because they're simply too heavy to get on most horses. So if you want to, you know, rediscover a passion, if you're a woman, a passion from your younger years like riding, you may need to drop weight to do that. And do not let weight stop you doing what you want to do. That's, I think, the worst thing about weight. It's not about the aesthetics, it's about what weight stops you doing and what weight does to your health. So things like diabetes, you know, joint problems from carrying extra weight. You know, there's no argument against dropping weight in terms of getting excess weight off. There really is no argument, because we know that there are certain diseases which come with carrying excess weight, particularly things like type 2 diabetes, which, you know, you can wholly avoid. You can also eradicate the symptoms if you get your weight down and start to eat properly. One of the Maia Lloyd weight loss clinic secrets and recipe books that we've done, and I'll put the link up on the screen, has some case studies in it, and these are Maia Lloyd's clients, and it talks about some of the people who come to her and their motivations and their reasons for losing weight. And these are, you know, a lot of these are about the health issues that come from having excess weight. So I really encourage you, when you're looking at your goals and your goal setting, to be honest with yourself about the downsides of carrying your current weight. These are your reasons, your personal reasons. You don't have to broadcast these to anybody. But if, you know, being overweight makes you feel down, if being overweight makes you feel depressed, if being overweight prevents you from doing things, write these reasons down, so that when you are tempted and when things become less new and shiny on your weight loss regime, you can look at these reasons and say, yeah, this is why I'm doing this, because this is how I used to feel about myself and I don't want to feel like that anymore. This is how I used to be and I don't want to be like that anymore. Okay, so write these things down and have them somewhere where you can see them, and ignore anybody else who says, you know, you don't need to lose weight, you're fine. If you in your head think that you need to lose weight and you are carrying excess weight, then let's get on, set some goals, get some healthy eating going, and just watch that weight come off. Okay, so those are the two first things I wanted to say about goal setting. The next thing I wanted to talk about was coping strategies, and you know, what you do if you're the sort of person who, generally speaking, if you are carrying excess weight, you will have been using food, or some of the time you'll be using food to cope with emotion or cope with life. And I've said in previous videos, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you are a person of action. If you actually have developed coping strategies, there's nothing wrong with that. The issue is the coping strategy that you've chosen is not one long term, which is sustainable. Because if you continue to cope with life with food, you're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Particularly as you get into middle age, you're going to put weight on, and you're going to become less mobile, and you're going to develop some of the weight-related diseases like type 2 diabetes. So the coping strategy is not a bad thing. It's the actual strategy you're using that's wrong. So what you need to think about is finding other coping strategies. I'll give you an example. I used to be, you know, a number of years ago, I used to be a really heavy smoker. And that was definitely my coping strategy for lots of things in my life. And it was also, you know, rebellion. I thought, you know, at that time, you know, that it, you know, why did I need to, you know, worry about that? And interestingly, when I was training as a personal trainer, there were a number of the students who were smokers. I was a non-smoker by that time, but I was shocked by how many personal trainers actually smoke. And obviously a lot of ballet dancers smoke. You know, footballers used to smoke. A lot of us have smoked, but that was my coping strategy. Now, when I stopped smoking, and I've never smoked since, I was grief-stricken, and I couldn't understand initially why I was so grief-stricken. And then finally, the penny dropped. I had taken away a coping strategy, and I hadn't replaced it with anything. So the thing that used to give me pleasure or give me relief in my, you know, in my mind had gone, and I hadn't put anything else in its place. So I would strongly recommend that when it comes to setting goals, you think about what could be an alternative coping strategy. What are you going to put into your life to give you the sort of comfort and pleasure that you might have taken from food? Now, the obvious one, and the one we would recommend, would be either a form of meditation or exercise, both of which are great coping strategies for stress. And I've talked in other videos about the benefits of guided meditation, and you can download meditations, you know, very simply. If you go onto YouTube and put in guided meditation or, you know, meditation for relaxation, lots of stuff will come up. Just have a go. Put your headphones on, listen to something like that when you feel the sorts of feelings that you might have triggered eating. Try and work out what is an alternative good coping strategy that you can use. Don't just kick the crutch away of food and then think you're going to be okay. It's really important that you give your emotions a break, give yourself a break, find other things you can do which will give you the same feeling of relief. So that's the next thing I wanted to say. The next thing is I want to just talk to you about cravings and what you do about cravings. And cravings scare people a lot. You know, what are you going to do when you really, really want that chocolate? What are you going to do when you really, really want that glass of wine? What are you going to do when you really, really want that packet of crisps or that muffin? How are you going to handle that? I think that cravings are a bit like, because the thing about cravings is they are an unfulfilled emotional need, and that's, I think, why they scare us. Because it's a bit like, if you are somewhere in a public place and you hear a child crying, you will often get really, really upset by that and really, really stressed by that. Why is that? Because it reminds us of our own unmet needs as children and as adults. That's why a child's cry is so upsetting. Cravings are an unmet need, and they remind you of previous unmet needs, and they churn up all those emotions. So the first thing I would say about cravings is recognize that the reason that they are worrying to you is not because they are something that you can't disobey, but because they represent something else to you. They represent unmet needs. So that's the first thing. So when you get a craving, you can say to yourself, I understand, I realise why I'm feeling this feeling. It's because it's about something deeper than whether or not I should have that next muffin or that next piece of toast. The second thing is to find ways to distract yourself from cravings. In the initial stages of forming new habits and getting rid of old habits, you will have cravings, and cravings don't need to be obeyed. Cravings aren't a law, you know, that you're going to be imprisoned if you don't obey, but you do need to help yourself by finding ways to distract yourself. So having already thought through 2 or 3 ways to cope with a craving is a good way to go into a new regime, confident that you can deal with cravings without stressing yourself out. Now, the sorts of things you can use to deal with cravings, and I'll probably do a separate video about cravings because it's something which comes up quite a lot with my clients. Distraction's a great one. So go for a walk, classic. Obviously, don't go for a walk round a sweet shop, but go for a walk somewhere, get out of the house, do something different. Another one is to do something you enjoy. So to have, you know, a box set, a piece of music, a jigsaw, whatever your hobby is, have something pleasurable that you can do which does not involve food to distract. It's another form of distraction, distracts you from your craving. A simple one, which may sound bizarre, is actually to change your shoes. And this is one that I use quite a lot. So if I feel uncomfortable feelings, I feel a craving for something which I'm trying not to eat, then changing my shoes, what changing your shoes does, it changes your state, because it changes your balance, it changes the way your body feels, and it's really quite effective. So have a go with changing your shoes. It doesn't have to be shoes, it could be something else, another piece of clothing that you change, but change something about your physical environment. So going out, as I said, or changing your shoes will help really well with cravings. So don't be frightened of cravings. Cravings are a natural process. They will become less as you start to install new habits. Cravings are your own body's way of saying, hey, I like the way things are. I don't want things to change. But you obviously are going to go back to what your goal is and the reason why you have those goals. So that's why having written your goal out and written the reasons for your goals out is really important, because when you feel a craving, you need sometimes to just go back to basics. What is your goal? Why have you got that goal? As a way to say to your cravings, I'm not going to obey you. Just bear in mind with cravings, no craving lasts forever. No craving is ever going to kill you. No craving ever has to be obeyed. Sit it out, distract, change your state. Cravings will go away, and they'll become less and less as you instill your new habits. Okay. Then the next thing I want to talk about was celebrating success. So when you set a goal, you've set your big goal, you should be setting little smaller goals for along the way. So, every small step towards your goal is a success. And you need to celebrate that. And I'm really serious about that you celebrate. You physically, jump around the room, pat yourself on the back, go yes, whatever it may be. But when you achieve a small sub-goal, you need to really celebrate it. One of the things that I think we do really badly in life is we live for the future. When I drop that weight, things will be great. When I get that new job, things will be great. You need to celebrate the journey. You need to celebrate each element of your success. So every pound or kilo or half a kilo lost, give yourself a pat on the back. Say it out loud to yourself, I did that really well. That was hard and I've done really well. Tell other people. If you are on a social network that is about weight loss, they're actually really good about celebrating success. If you look at someone like Alcoholics Anonymous, they give you tokens. You get a token for 1 day sober. They fully understand how important it is to celebrate stages along the journey. So take the best from that, and in your own weight loss efforts, celebrate your success as you go along. Obviously, don't celebrate your success with food, but you can celebrate your success as simply as literally physically patting yourself on the back and saying, I've done a good job, or jumping up and down, or whatever it may be. Or you can do something that's nice for you. So go for a massage, paint your nails, do something fun at the gym, try a new sport, whatever it may be. Go to the movies, but find something that you can celebrate your success with in the smaller goals as you go along. Now, the final thing in relation to goal setting I wanted to talk about was what happens when you fall off the wagon, what happens when you have a setback. And talking to our nutritionist, Maia Lloyd, she would adopt the 80-20 rule, which is, if you're managing to stay on track 80% of the time, do not overly obsess about the other 20%. You will achieve your goal if you spend 80% of your time on your program. Having said that, what's important is that when you do come off your program, and it will be inevitable that it'll happen, that you get straight back on. So when you have a period when you go, that bacon sandwich is talking to me, I need to eat it, that's fine. But when you've eaten that sandwich, enjoy that sandwich, but then go straight back onto your regime, and don't beat yourself up about that bacon sandwich. Enjoy it. Accept the fact that no regime is meant to be adopted 100%. If you are adopting a regime 100%, you may well be in the obsessional realm, which again isn't healthy. Most successful lean people, don't have over fatty diets and don't have overly restrictive diets. They believe that they should allow themselves all types of food. So if you're starting to restrict your food and saying, I can't have this, I can't have that, take a step back and look at that. And I would almost suggest that you encourage yourself to have a meal off, have a cheat meal, because you need to make sure again that food does not become the priority, or it shouldn't be taking huge amounts of your emotional life in keeping to staying on a diet. Diet is a small part of your life. I go back to the words from a really great bodybuilder from the 1970s called Mike Mentzer, and he always said, I go to the gym in the morning and then I get on with my life. So he was a champion, but he believed that you need balance in your life, you need other things in your life. It cannot just be about weight. And I really, really encourage you that even when you're on a weight loss program or weight loss plan, that you don't make that the major emotional sucker of energy in your life. It needs to be, you know, this is what I'm going to do, but I have other things I want to concentrate on. So that's what I wanted to say to you about goal setting. If you like the video, then obviously give me a comment. If you don't, you know, all feedback is good feedback. If you like the video, please share it with anybody you think it might be helpful to. You know, I do these videos because I hope that I'm helping you think about some of the issues in your life and thinking about health and fitness and resilience, which is what 3Ps is all about. And if you have particular comments for me or queries or questions about goal setting, you can get in touch with me direct. Just email me at hello@3pspublishing.com. I'll put the notes, and I think I'll probably put a note on the video, and it'll also be in the notes on the video. If you want to have a look at our books on weight loss, the series is called Weight Loss Clinic, Secrets and Recipes. It's by Maia Lloyd. It's on Amazon now. They're only 99p or 99 cents each. I'll put the links in the notes. I can't put them actually on the message on the screen because they don't allow Amazon, so there we are. But I'll put it in the notes. But if you don't get to the notes, you're looking at this and you're on the move, you want to have a quick look, then just go onto Amazon and search Maia Lloyd. That's M-A-I-A Lloyd. That's L-L-O-Y-D. Weight loss, and they'll all come up for you. I really encourage you to have a look at them because the food is great, and I think the approach is absolutely the approach that you should be looking for, which is a sustainable, healthy approach. Nothing faddy, no weird food you've never heard of. It's just simple food that you can share with other people as well, but it will help you lean up for summer. It's been a pleasure and it's been a privilege. I know you're busy, so thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.